Hey guys, I hope you're all doing well. So earlier today I was sitting down with a downline in my upline, right? And my upline basically said to my downline, do you want to be right or do you want to be rich, right? And I've been saying that to my downline for a very long time. And the downline just kind of got it when my upline said it, okay? And it made me think about sometimes hearing the same advice from a different person just seems to make it click, right? You can say the same thing over and over and over again, but what tends to happen is sometimes our downlines can just get closed-minded and sick of hearing like the uplines talk, right? So they become less teachable and less receptive to what we're trying to like say to them. But by introducing a third person, you can bypass that a little bit, right? And so yeah, so basically just hearing the same advice from a different place can make advice more valuable and more like easier to implement for the downline, right? So then we were also strategizing about how to lead and deal with individual people, right? And one of the things my upline was talking to my downline about was basically you have to consider people's like individual personality types, right? So you've got four main types. Everyone's two. So you've got a primary and a subtype. So you've got cleric, which is just like they just want to go out there and do it, right? They don't really care about the details of how they're going to do it. They just want to give it a go and see what happens, right? And then you've got melancholies, which are kind of like the opposite of that, where they care so much about the details. Most overthinkers tend to be melancholies, so they just care so much about the details of how they're going to do this, how are they going to do that, what are they going to say if they say this. Do you know what I mean? And so those two, and then you got phlegmatic, which are like I don't want to say lazy because it's got a negative connotation, but they're kind of a lot more chilled out and laid back, right? And then you got sanguines, which are like they really like being the center of social attention, right? They're just very outgoing people, right? Um, so yeah, that's the four personality types. And so we were just talking about like how it changes when you're dealing with different ones, right? And how you change how you lead and how you manage them. Okay. Um, so we then went on to like goal setting and dream setting, right? And we were basically talking about how you have to be very specific, right? You have to make it very, very real in order for the person to like properly like see themselves at that destination, right? I talk a lot about the destination. You have to be able to envision yourself where you want to be for doing this business to be a viable route of doing it, right? Because we do some like objectively kind of strange things, right? But if you've got a goal in mind, if you've got somewhere you want to be in mind, it makes it completely relevant, right? Um, so yeah, when you're out there building the business, the number one thing is to be hungry, right? And hungry enough to set your ego aside and to be teachable. Because if you're not willing to set your ego down and if you're not willing to be teachable, you're not going to grow and you're not going to change, and your upline is going to get very very sick of you very very quick, right? And another thing you can say to like people that are thinking about building the business. So when you're comparing the business, most people just look at the numbers, right? They're not taking into account the fact that I can get $50,000 here, but I work a job that I get 52,000 at. But they're not taking into account the fact that you do this work once and it's there for the rest of your life, but you have to keep showing up every single day, every single year to get that 52,000. So basically, you point out the difference between active and residual incomes, right? So active income is stuff like a job where you have to put in effort and you sell your time to get money back out, right? And then residual or passive income is when you do the work once, and you just keep on getting the benefits of it, right? So you sell your time once and you get it like forever, right? So that's like investing or like what we have, which is a business system, right? Um, so yeah, so another objection that's pretty common is that people don't like the product, right? So they'll be like, I don't really know about this. I'm not a fan of the products. I don't like the shampoo or the toothpaste or whatever. It's a funny objection because like you don't have to like the products to get in the business, right? Like, can a vegetarian own a McDonald's? Like ethically, they would probably not be okay with it, but they can do it. Like it's still money to them. If they're a business person, they're gonna do it if the opportunity arises, right? And like, can a bald guy be a hairdresser? So just because you don't use the service or you don't have the thing that the service is oriented towards doesn't mean that you can't profit from other people that do like it, right? Like no market is like targeting 100% of the population. So everyone doesn't have to like what you're selling. Just some people do, right? And some people will. Um, so yeah, if you're not active in the business, generally it's going to be one or both of two things, right? It's going to be you don't believe in the business. Pardon. It's going to be you don't believe in the business, or you don't have a dream yet, right? Um, so not believing in the business is kind of like like they make $12 billion a year in sales revenue, right? So they're paying out a percentage of that revenue of $12 billion. So obviously it's working for like millions of people out there. So what's the difference between you and them, right? The difference is they're willing to set their ego aside and be teachable and do the thing. They have a dream, so they're willing to do the things that you won't to get where you won't be, right? And generally that just means that you don't have a dream, and that's fine. That's fine because when we're young, we don't really we're told to dream, right? We can be anything, and we're supported in that cause, right? So in school, you'll be like, I want to be president, I want to be a surgeon, you know? And teachers and your parents and your family and everyone is just going to be like, yeah, you can do it. You just keep working, you know? And they're supportive. But as we get older, if you're a 34-year-old that's just like, I'm going to be president to your parents, they'll be like, what are you talking about? Like, just grow up, right? Their perspective changes when they see your potential, right? They're not just like they're not just like relentlessly positive anymore. So we used to dream, but we don't really dream so much anymore. So it's okay that you don't have a dream, okay? But you need to create one, right? You need to make your dream a habit. So basically you need to start like writing down a list of 100 dreams, and you need to work on it every day. You need to imagine yourself there. You need to so what I do, I imagine particular conversations that I'm going to have, and the perspective of where I am and where I'm going to be present in that conversation, right? Um, and you can think about the type of person you're going to be, because obviously we have to be the type of person that's a millionaire before we get the $1 million, right? The like to get to be a millionaire. Um, so yeah, that's just like you have to you have to kind of like make your dream real for you to see the business or any path as the correct path, or a worthwhile path is probably a better way of putting it, to your dream. Okay. Um, so yeah, we can all agree that the dream is missing then, right? So that's all right. Your dream just isn't a habit. So when we're young, our teachers are like supportive of us, but as we get older, they're not. Um, and basically, the people that are telling us that become negative when we're older, they tend to be the people that love us the most and that are closest to us, right? And so basically what happens is they think it's safer for us to be told that it's not like possible than to let us be built up and then to be let down, right? But because by taking down our dreams, it stops us from dreaming, right? So yeah, we just have to get back in touch with that. So to finish off, you guys. So to finish off, you guys just got to start dream building, right? And you got to be as specific as you can. So material possessions, personal growth, specific events, um, and that you want, and specific events that you want to happen. So imagine the conversation in those events, right? Like revenge is it's a great motivator, um, and like helping people is also a great motivator. So you just got to make it real, okay? And yeah, that's everything for tonight, guys. Have a good night.